Welcome to Cutoff Genes, the podcast that helps you find your truth using nothing but DNA. I'm Julie Dixon Jackson, and I'm a genetic genealogist, henceforth known as a Gen Genie.
And I am Richard Castle, the producer and co-host, and the sophomoric humor Gen Genie.
I was waiting for it.
Yes. Well, we gave me a moniker last week, and even though it's not really catchy or memorable.
Sophomoric Gen Genie. Yeah, it's really not.
I gotta
SGG.
I need to come up with something. I'm a
Southern
generic.
California
How about a
genetic genealogy?
how about I'm a generic Gen Genie?
Nope.
No, I'm not generic.
I don't like
I'm
that.
unique.
You are anything but generic.
Yes, exactly.
Richard Castle.
I know. I'm name brand.
Yes, you are. Songs about castles.
Exactly.
How are you?
I'm doing really well. How are you doing?
I'm well. Big changes in the Jackson household.
Oh, tell me.
My daughter is now a senior in college.
Oh my God, how does that happen?
I don't even know. And my son finally got his braces off.
Oh, well, that's exciting. Oh, that's
Yeah.
a big deal.
Can I tell you, my kids are the two kids that have had braces on longer than anybody else in the world. She had them on for 5.5 or 6 years. He had his on for 7.
That's a long time.
You know, I'm starting to think maybe our orthodontist is a little too much of a perfectionist. Because it was like, you've got to be kidding me.
7 years? I've never heard of that.
They were paid off years ago.
Really?
Yes. But the guy is like a stickler for perfection. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So my kids do have perfect teeth.
Now, did you have braces growing up?
No, neither of us did. My teeth are pretty good.
They are pretty good.
My lower ones are crowded.
Yeah.
But of course, I'm Australian. We are not known for our good teeth. But sorry, Aussies, it's true.
So it's a recessive gene that both of your kids needed braces?
I guess. Well, okay, both my husband and I, neither of us had our wisdom teeth out. And as a result of that, have crowding. So his upper teeth are a little crowded now that he wants to fix. But yeah, neither of us had braces or were given the opportunity to have braces, actually.
So how does Beckett feel now that the braces are off his teeth?
He feels pretty handsome.
I bet.
He looks so good.
Really?
Yeah.
Must be nice to see that smile now
Oh my
without
God.
the...
I'm so used to the braces. It's weird.
Well, I mean, 7 years is like half his life, right?
Yes, it is half his life. What is up with that?
Oh my God.
Yeah, they both had like 2 stages of what they had to do, and it had to do with their jaw and all. You know, Beckett had extra shark teeth at one point that he had to have removed.
Oh my God.
Yeah. We have complicated mouths. You know what it is? You know what I think it is? My father, Freudian. My husband has a very small mouth, and I have a very large mouth, and I think they got teeth my size and mouths his mouth size. I think that's what it is.
How disturbing.
My husband calls me a Muppet. He says I have a flip-top head. Is that a problem?
You know, here's the thing. I don't think that your mouth, like, physically is that big. However, are you a big mouth?
Well, sure.
Yes.
I'm the wide-mouthed frog. Do you remember me telling that joke?
No, but I know, I mean,
At the My Fair Lady audition, I told that joke.
Oh, my God.
That got me the part.
Really?
I did it in a Cockney accent. Come on.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I don't know that I don't remember your audition.
Maybe
I wasn't in the room.
It was between me and 2 other ladies for Eliza, and they both told dirty jokes as Americans, and I told a clean joke in a Cockney accent.
Wow. There you go.
Thanks, Bill Purkis.
So tell me that, wait, so let me just go back to this. So you were the fairest of the 3 ladies, obviously, in My Fair Lady. But why were you telling jokes at an audition?
He said, like at the very end, he wanted each of us to get up on stage and tell him the funniest joke we knew.
Oh, dear.
And that was the only one I could think of.
Yeah, you know what's weird
It's
about
so
that
corny.
is I would totally freeze because I don't know any jokes.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I can hold my own in a conversation and, you know, be fun and add to it, but I certainly couldn't sit here and tell you a joke right now. Like,
I probably couldn't either, but I think it was probably the last joke I'd heard.
yeah.
And so it was the first one that came to mind.
I guess because I don't like jokes.
I like jokes.
Do you? See, I don't like comedians that tell stand-up comedians that tell jokes. I like comedians that tell stories.
Yeah.
and that are
I guess
funny.
I do too. Yeah, I don't like jokes.
Yeah.
But you know what I do like is dumb dad jokes.
Apparently, I've been accused of
That
being.
explains a lot.
I have
come
been
to think
accused
of it.
telling dad jokes on this podcast.
On this very
and I will
podcast.
tell you that they are only just puns that I've come up with. I am neither a dad.
On the fly.
Yes. I am
Nor a
not
comedian.
Nor a comedian. There were no jokes told on this podcast. No jokes were harmed in the making of this podcast.
My husband tells one repeatedly every time he sees a sign that says Roadwork Ahead. He goes, Roadwork Ahead? Gee, I hope so.
What?
He wants to make sure the road works ahead.
Oh, my Lord.
He is my son.
Yeah, he's my son and my father, apparently. Because you're Freudian son and father.
Yes.
Is he your
My
Holy
husband.
Ghost as well?
Yeah. I'm my Holy Ghost. I have no idea what that means.
I don't either.
All right. So let's talk about DNA, shall we?
Please.
Did you know that, for heaven's sake, let's get there.
For heaven's sake.
For heaven's sake.
Heaven's sake, Holy Ghost, where are we? This is not a religious podcast, Julie. Oy, Gafal. Oh, wait. Oh, that's not what we're
Where
doing.
did it all go wrong?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't
gosh.
know.
Did you know that Who Do You Think You Are is coming back to network television?
I
Do
did
you
know
care
that.
that Who Do You Think You Are?
I heard about that. It's been off for years, right?
It has. I think it's still been on cable.
Okay.
And in Australia and the UK, it's like prime time. It has been for years.
Now, this is the one that Lisa Kudrow started, correct?
Yes, she's still an executive.
Yeah, and I would watch her in anything because I think she is
Well,
so...
she's not in it. You never see her.
Oh, well, she was on it originally, though, right?
She was
Didn't
in one of the first episodes
Right.
because she was a producer, and so she's like, "Let's do me."
Right,
Yeah,
right.
and Courtney Cox too. But yeah, it's coming back to network television, and I'm sure it's because of the whole DNA thing that's happening, and it's hugely successful all over the world. I love that. I will, of course, it's always going to be celebrities because people only care about celebrities, which is kind of a bummer for those of us who are not celebrities. But I'm wondering if they need any Gen Genies now. I bet they're going to use them a lot more.
You should look into
DNA.
that, Julie, because
I should call them.
You're so good. No, really. I mean,
Yeah.
you're so good, and you could just point them to the podcast if they
Does
want to
anyone
hear
have a
what you know.
hookup? Hey guys, anyone has a hookup?
So what's it called? Who do you think you are?
Who do you want to be? Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are?
Yes, who do you think you are?
Yeah, well, put it out there in the world. You
and
never
they
know.
like Finding Your Roots with Dr. Henry Louis Gates, does a similar show. But recently he did one with Andy Samberg, and his mother was adopted, and they found his mother's biological family.
Oh, that's cool.
So that Cece did, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very cool, and I hope they start doing that with on Who Do You Think You Are? Because I think that would be cool.
I think that you should be on that show as an on-air personality because, even though Julie has a great radio voice, she does not she has a great face, and I would say that she would look beautiful
For a Muppet.
on television. You're not a Muppet. You have a big mouth, but a big mouth is only figurative. Your mouth is not big like...
It is big.
It doesn't seem big to me. I mean, other than
It's
when I
kinda
hear
big.
it. It's not, let me put it this way. From when I listened, if I were shutting my eyes and I didn't know you, I would think your mouth was much bigger than when I open my eyes and see it physically.
All right.
That's sort of a compliment.
Is it? Okay, I'll take that.
In a backhanded way.
You know what? I can take any of it. Whatever. I'm tough.
She's going to give me a tongue lashing later. Out of that big
Ew!
mouth. Out of that big mouth. A tongue lashing is reading me.
Colloquialism.
Yes, for reading me the riot act.
Tongue lashing.
Haven't you heard of that?
Yes, I have. But now that we talk, it's like keeping your eyes peeled. All of these things are so weird.
Yeah, I know. Where do they come from?
Look it up. All right. So, hey, guess what else is happening in DNA?
What?
Leonardo
Da Vinci
yes.
or DiCaprio? There's two famous Leonardos.
The latter. No, the earlier. The former.
The former. Leonardo da Vinci.
Yes, Leonardo da Vinci is having his hair is being DNA tested.
How do they have his hair?
How do you ask? Italian experts have found what they say is hair from Leonardo da Vinci. My mouth doesn't work. My big mouth.
It's very big, but
and
it doesn't
are
work.
set to do a DNA test on the Renaissance genius's locks, they announced Monday. We found across the Atlantic a lock of hair historically tagged Les Cheveux de Leonardo da Vinci, and this extraordinary relic will enable us to carry out research on his DNA.
While I think that's fascinating, I question the validity of that. How do you prove that
do
it
you
is
know it's his?
hair? I mean, he lived, help me out. Was it the 1400s?
The Renaissance.
Anyway, I mean, Lord knows, I do remember, like when I've painted a wall in my house, finding like a hair on the wall, like one of my, beard hairs or something, or my hair falls out and it ends up on the paintbrush and it ends up permanently attached to my wall. So I guess it could happen if he was like painting the Sistine Chapel.
Well, I'm sure as I go further in this article, it'll tell us how they got it. By the way, the 14th to 17th century.
Well, see, I was in that ballpark. I said 1400s.
Which is the 15th century.
Right.
You're right.
Yes.
Okay.
But I mean, he was not alive from the 14th to the 17th century.
You are correct.
That would be a very long time. That's like Moses' time. Like.
Oh,
I don't
here we
mean
go. Well,
Moses
this will tell us.
lived that
Look,
long.
the find will be presented at a press conference at Da Vinci near Florence on May 2nd. They said the 500th anniversary of the artist's death.
Wow. But his hair lingers on.
The hair lingers. Okay. The historical find of the lock of hair, which up till now had been hidden in an American collection, will be shown in a world premiere together with documents that prove its ancient French provenance. I'm not sure what the documents, how they're going to prove that, but...
Well, isn't it embarrassing that like 600 years after your death, they could find out you had split ends? Look how brittle it is. Oh, my God.
He really needed a deep conditioning.
I always think it's weird when people keep like, parts of somebody. And I don't mean someone's clothing. I mean, that's to me is a memento. But like when they clip hair off of somebody.
Okay.
Or, I'll tell you this quick story.
Okay.
I was in, oh God, where was I? I was in Bruges, and it was a beautiful.
I love that movie.
Old church. Yes. Beautiful. It's a beautiful city. And they were offering, I walked by and there was like a line of people to go into this church. And they were venerating some purported blood of Christ, that was in a vial. And
What's venerating?
To worship, yeah. Okay. So like there was a sign outside, like it was this blood of Christ was available for veneration from like 3 to 5 p.m. And people waited in line and they paid money to go in and see it. And I went in and saw it, but I mean, there was nothing in there. It was dust. I mean, of course it would be dust. It's, 2,000 years old, if it is anything at all. And just the idea that I don't know, it creeps me out. And I apologize to anybody who is, religious and believes that and finds that to be something that gives them comfort, because I understand that. But
wasn't there supposed to be a chunk of wood from the cross that Christ died on in Notre Dame that was destroyed in the fire?
It's possible, but
again,
I don't know.
how do you prove that?
I don't know.
Okay, so speaking of relics of people that people collect, I have 2 things to add to that.
The baby tooth that you kept?
I have a drawer full of my son's teeth.
Oh, dear.
My husband actually has a drawer full of them.
Well, you know what? If he ever becomes super famous, then people can venerate them.
Okay,
Beckett's teeth are available for veneration between 3 and 5 p.m. in the year 2062.
Okay, so the reason he has a drawer full of them, they're his side drawer, and he goes to bed at like 2 a.m. So whenever Beckett would lose a tooth before he would go to bed, because I would go to bed sometimes before my son, he would go in and get the tooth from under the pillow and put $1 under there and then stick the tooth in the drawer. And one day I was cleaning out his drawers and it was just full of teeth. And I kind of liked it. So I still have them.
Well, it's a cute story unless we find out that your husband is a serial killer and they're not your son's teeth.
They're not my son's teeth at all. They're trophies.
Although, you did just tell us that since he got his braces off, that he had extra shark teeth. So there's a lot of teeth in that drawer.
I have those too.
Oh, my Lord.
I considered making earrings out of them. Is that wrong?
I'm going to be uncharacteristically silent and have some restraint.
All right.
Let's take a break.
Okay.
If you're enjoying Cutoff Genes, please subscribe, rate, and review. Now, back to Julie and me.
Okay, let's talk about Ancestry Trees.
Why not?
Why the heck not? So, because of what I do, I have many, many, many trees on Ancestry on one account.
I bet.
And it's getting really crowded.
You got a forest.
Exactly.
Forest. She can't see the forest for the
trees. Nice. So I decided that I needed to clean house. And I wanted to start deleting them, but I was worried that the trees that I have built for other people, if I deleted them from my account, that would delete them because I've just shared them with these people.
You know you're talking to a tree hugger, so I don't talk about deleting trees now. You're upsetting me.
You're not a tree hugger at all, are you?
Well, not really. I mean,
okay.
I don't really like to. I'm afraid to get bugs on me, so I don't want to hug a tree for fear that like some kind of little ant was going to crawl on me, and that would be the end of the day for me.
Bugs.
Okay. I don't like bugs.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I won't hug trees. I do like trees, but I will not.
Let's talk about trees.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so so I realized that these trees that I have meticulously built for people will be gone. Even for them, and the reason I built them was for them. So I didn't know what to do about that because I don't want them anymore.
Is there a way to archive them or something?
Well, there is. There is actually a way to. There are two ways. You can download it to an external family tree app or program, like Family Tree Maker or Legacy Tree, I think is another one. You can also just, as I've talked about this before, you can download the tree as a GEDCOM. I've talked about that before.
Yes.
So you can download it and it can be a GEDCOM in your computer, and then you can send that to the person that you built the tree for.
Okay.
The only problem with that is that the media that you may have added to the tree will be gone.
What media you're talking about?
Pictures, any documents that you may have manually put in there will be gone. So that's a bit of a problem. I need to find a way to build trees for people that I'm working for in their own accounts. But that's going to be a pain because people have different levels of memberships that are not the level of membership that I have because I have access to everything.
Right.
Wow, I'm working this through on the podcast, aren't I?
Well,
anyone got ideas?
Are you allowed to have separate accounts for yourself? Like, in other words, can you open a separate account for each client that you have that you're trying to help and build a tree on that?
But then I'd have to pay for the extras.
Oh, I see. So there's not like you can't. It's not like when you go on the internet and you pay for internet service and they give you up to 5 email accounts or something.
Yeah, no.
It's not like that.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. No, I can't.
Isn't there a family plan, like, where you can go on there and you can have an account and your husband and your kids maybe?
No.
No?
Not like Hulu?
Yeah, exactly. Like family sharing. Yeah. I can't believe Ancestry doesn't have family sharing.
Well, it would need to be. I mean, that would still be limited the amount that you could. I mean, I have upwards of 35 trees on there, and so what I have been doing is meticulously downloading them. And the thing is, most people aren't as interested in the history as I am of their trees, and so it's not going to bother them that much to not have the media that I put on there. And I guess I could just send them that by email, like the media that's on there.
You could certainly download the media and just put that in a separate file and say these were the attachments to the tree. They won't be attached to the tree, but they will be. Yeah. They would still have the pictures and or documents
that sounds like a lot of work.
It does sound like a lot of work, but if you're trying to cull the forest.
Cull the forest. Anyway, there's just too many trees. And there are trees there that I don't even know what they're about, but I'm scared to delete them anymore because somebody might call me and say, hey, remember we were doing this? I'd be like, nope.
Maybe some kind of little, forest fire might be. I don't know what happened. It just went up in smoke.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to your tree. Somebody chopped it down.
Oh.
Thank you very much.
I cannot tell a lie. I chopped it down, Julie. Blame me. I don't care.
Is that what that was about?
Yeah. It was George Washington, right?
I'm Australian.
Oh, that's right. You don't know our lore.
I know that I do. I know the saying.
It was George Washington who apparently chopped down a cherry tree, and his father said to him, did you chop it down? He said, Father, I cannot tell a lie.
Why
I
did he do
chopped the
that?
cherry tree down. I don't know. Maybe he couldn't reach the cherries and wanted some cherries. Who knows?
That is very destructive behavior.
It is, But then again, that destructive behavior helped him defeat the British.
He destructed them.
Yes.
All right.
Fine.
Anyway, so hey guys, anyone with any more clues about a good way to do these trees for other people without losing all the stuff?
I know.
Yeah.
You might even contact Ancestry about some kind of archival feature.
You know what's interesting is I started this as a way of telling people how to download the trees and share the trees with people before deleting them. But now I've turned it into a help Julie with her problem thing.
What do you mean help Julie with her problems?
Well, because I'm wondering if anybody else knows of a better way to do it so that you don't lose all the data.
Right.
I think it's probably the external hard drive thing, or not the external hard drive, the external family tree software.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that all of the stuff would transfer to that.
Yeah, and if there's, if it's family tree software, I would imagine that you could still attach some of those attachments to.
Well, the very nature of that software is it coordinates with Ancestry and with these sites.
Well, there you go.
But that means people have to buy that software.
Well, do they want their tree or not?
Yeah. Good point. You know what? I am too nice. That is what is wrong with me.
Well, if it's going to affect how you do your work, in that, it gets more difficult because you have to go through all these trees or there's just too much clutter. At some point, you got
Clutter is my middle name.
Yeah, well.
Julie Clutter Dixon Jackson.
That's a lot of names,
It is.
Missy.
I know. Julie Missy Clutter Dixon Jackson.
I should talk. You don't even want to look behind what's in that closet. It's like if I opened it up, everything would fall out. It's all clutter.
I want to do it. I'm so tempted to get up and do it. Anyway, all right, moving on.
Yes.
Here's something fun. Woman with 2 wombs gives birth twice, nearly a month apart.
Oh, my God.
A 20-year-old Bangladeshi woman gave birth to twins 26 days after giving birth to her first child.
Wow.
It's true. Arifa Sultana gave birth to a boy in late February. After a normal delivery, the mother and baby were released from a different Dhaka hospital in Bangladesh. Less than 4 weeks later, she was admitted to a different hospital. She came to the hospital complaining of lower abdominal pain. Doctors performed an ultrasound and realized Sultana was pregnant with twins. Sultana had 2 uteruses, a condition called, here we go, uterus didelphis.
Wait, so she didn't know?
Didelphis.
Maybe she did not have good prenatal care before she gave birth to that first baby, because wouldn't the doctor have seen that, or in some of the?
Not necessarily. 'Cause
Really?
sometimes they hide, especially if she had 2 wombs. I have a nice 2-womb apartment.
I was waiting for something. Yeah.
You would have done it, so I just went there. Maybe one was in front of the other.
Yeah, that was the womb with the view. I'm sorry.
I hope you guys are having as much fun as us. Well, and also as Bangladesh, who knows how many ultrasounds are available there, if they even do them.
Yeah.
Other than in a hospital right before you give birth, or I don't know. Anyway, they didn't know.
They didn't know she had womb mates. Well, they were twins, so they were womb mates. Oh, my God.
I'm just going to have a moment of silence and move on.
Okay. No, that is fascinating.
Yeah, I know.
So...
Well, let me keep going.
Go ahead.
So the condition is called uterus didelphis. Her first baby and the twins were conceived and grown in separate wombs. She did not... She did not get an ultrasound before the first delivery, so it was missed. It is not very common to have 2 uteruses. No kidding. When the uterus develops, it comes from 2 tubes, and those tubes fuse together. For some women, the fusion does not occur, and the dividing wall does not dissolve.
So she thought she was having 1 baby, and she ended up having 3.
Yeah, a month apart.
A month apart.
A month apart. How do you explain that one?
Well, you'll have to tell everybody about your 2 wombs. And you know what? She's going to need an extra womb, a room for those kids.
Maybe she should put them back in there.
Maybe no. I mean, in her house, she's going to have an extra room. And she's like, I need another room. She's going to tear down that wall.
Yeah. Oh, the twins were fraternal, by the way, a boy and a girl. So, and they were delivered by C-section.
I mean, again, I don't know. I don't understand all of the connections in there, but I'm amazed that the twins who were born later were able to get enough nourishment and everything from her.
She obviously ate well.
Well, I mean, just the idea that it was hooked up correctly for the two of them to for each of those babies to get the proper nutrition to develop.
Yeah, it could have ended very badly.
Yeah.
But, it went, let me see, for it to not be discovered before the birth is even less common. Okay, from rural areas, people don't know what is wrong with them. They don't know how many children they are pregnant with, and sometimes whether they are pregnant also.
Well, yeah.
That was a fun sentence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you know what? Yeah. There's always room for more. Oh, my God.
I don't even feel like trying to top that, frankly. So I'm not going to.
All right. This was fun.
Shall we break?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to Cutoff Genes with Julie Dixon Jackson and Richard Castle. That's me.
Okay, guys, we're back, and it is story time.
I think we're ready for part 3 of the interview from the last 2 weeks.
Yes, this is part 3 of my interview with Lori Wagner Knisely. When last we heard from Lori, she had reached out to her biological mother and had not been responded to. And then she discovered that she had taken a DNA test and matched her. But that didn't explain why she wouldn't respond to her. So let's see how it plays out.
Great. Can't wait to hear it.
All right.
And so I was just like, okay, she's testing. She's making sure that I know what I'm talking about, you know?
Yeah.
So we decided to still send the letter. I made just a postscript. I finally got the pictures back and I made a postscript. Hey, I wrote this letter before the DNA results, but I still want you to hear everything explained, you know. Take it to the post office, have them registered mail so I can track it, restrictive signature to where only she can sign for it. I pay like $25 to send this card.
Right.
The perfect card to put all this information in.
Well, of course, it's from Hallmark.
Yes.
Hallmark's getting a lot of time on the show today.
And it was just I was like, no words, perfect picture,
Yeah.
And I mail it. And I'm tracking it. It takes forever to get down to, she is now in San Antonio, takes forever to get down there. Then it takes forever to get to her. And then I stop getting updates.
Uh-oh.
So about the end of March, because I took spring break and went up to visit my grandchildren, I come back and I'm obsessing about it. I'm like, all right, I'm placing a claim with the post office. Where is this letter? It is lost. You need to find it. A couple days later, I get an email that the letter has been so destroyed, it couldn't be delivered and they couldn't find it.
You're kidding.
No, this absolutely devastated me because I had my hopes so high. She had done DNA, she knew it was me. I knew she'd take this letter and it was lost. I was mad. It took me a while to recover from that. Luckily had a meeting with my adoption support group and was able to just like speak incoherently and broken words and just cry to them of how much this devastated me. And they were a huge support to me. And they said, rewrite that letter. Rewrite. And I said, it's going to have to wait a while. I can't.
You don't have it in you. Yeah.
So I waited and wrote another letter in June of 2018 and mailed it off and tracked it again. And this time when I took it to the post office, the lady at the window, she knows me because I used to mail a lot of packages to my son when he was in the Marine Corps. And I take it up to her and do all the stuff again, spend like $25 again. And then I look at her and I said, is there any way you can make sure this letter doesn't get destroyed? And I'm fighting back tears. I'm like, this is the first contact letter to my birth mother. And the first one I sent got destroyed and couldn't get delivered. And I am really fighting back the tears. And she looks up and she's like, honey, I'll make sure it gets there. I'm going to make sure it's only hand sorted.
Oh, yeah.
And then I go, walking out, thank you very much,
So great.
I go walking out, I track it, and it looks like it's going to get lost again. I get, it's just not like going fast enough.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here at work. I work on a computer, unfortunately, so I can toggle back and forth and check things. And I'm like, all right, now I'm ticked at the post office. So I send them another claim. You've lost this second letter again. You need to find it. I want someone to call me this time. I want every piece of this letter found. It was not nice. And here's the first claim of where you lost it and da-da-da-da-da. So I do some more Google searching. I'm going to call her. I'm going to call her and just, confront her right there and everything. And then I find the obituary for her husband.
Oh.
And he had passed away on February 7th, 2018. So I was like, she's having I won't call her.
Yeah.
Then I go back to the post office website because I was like, maybe I should it's okay if that doesn't get delivered.
Right.
And I get that little triangle with the red exclamation point again. And she has refused to sign the letter. So I'm like, and it had just happened.
Okay.
And it was being sent back to me. So I was like, man, I was just in a no place, no feelings. I didn't know what to think.
Yeah.
So it took me about a day. And then I reached out to her on that second Ancestry account.
Uh-huh.
To let her know that I'd found the obituary, gave her my condolences for her husband. He sounded like a great guy. Just wanted to let you know I would like to connect with you. I've been looking for you and praying for you my whole life, and I will continue to pray for you during this difficult time. She never responded. That's in June. And then about November, because I kept checking that message, I kept checking that account. About November, she then blocked me on that account. So I don't know what took her so long because she's on one important thing I forgot. In April of 2018, I got a DNA hit on 23andMe of her.
Okay, so she's doing the DNA tests.
Yes.
But why would she do that?
And her DNA on 23andMe, she added her family information and connected her ancestry tree to it.
So what's she doing?
I don't know. That's
weird.
Yeah. So that's another reason for all of 2018. It's been about my mom.
Yeah.
And that's the reason I haven't reached back out to this second wife of my dad.
Right.
But I survived my birthday this past Christmas. It was kind of hard. I really thought it was going to be something different this year. And I think I'm going to now reach out to, come to find out also my birth mother has a son. So I have a half brother. And he's an only child. My mom was a nurse practitioner, a very successful published nurse practitioner. She has published some papers in some journals. I also have found a video, which was like her retirement video of the hospital she was retiring from. And got to watch a 10-minute video of her and learned about her career and how successful she has been. Unfortunately, I don't look anything like my mom.
Okay.
that was probably the biggest disappointment when we found her on Facebook. She has also blocked me from viewing her Facebook page.
Okay.
Other people in my family can view her, but I can't.
Right.
But I don't look like her. The only picture I have of my dad, he's 12 years old, and it's a pretty old photo. Mm-hmm. So I can't tell if I look like him. The one half sister on my dad's side kind of favors my daughter, I think.
Okay.
So I still have that kind of missing part of, I still don't look like a whole lot of people.
Right. Until you see more pictures, you'll see it. A lot of people tell me I don't look like my biological mother at all. And at first glance, I don't, but I can certainly see it, at certain angles and, our profiles. And as I get older, especially, I can see it more. But, okay. So what's your next move going to be?
That's a good question, because Suzanne and I were just kind of talking about that. I think my next steps is, one, going to reach back out to my father's second wife and ask if I can contact the two half sisters.
Okay.
To see and to ask again, hey, do you have any photos or any other information? I'm still debating on whether to just call my mom up or reach out and try to contact my half-brother.
Yeah. How old is he? He's an adult, obviously.
Yes. He's only 4 years younger than me, okay. So he's about 46.
Yeah. I would feel like you have every right to do that.
Yeah.
Regardless. One more thing I would try with her, and I've been doing this a lot lately, is send her a copy of the book, The Girls Who Went Away.
Oh, I have read that.
Yeah. It's it was really important for me to read because I understood the shame. Yes. And I think it would be easier for biological mothers if they knew that they weren't the only ones that felt this and that it was okay.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think all adoptees and biological people should read that book.
Oh, I recommend that book all the time. Yeah. I read it about 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And well, here's, I can't believe I forgot that. Recent development in the last month.
Oh.
On 23andMe, I got a first cousin hit. I've never had a first cousin hit before.
Okay.
And I looked at her. I first thought it was my dad's side, but no, it's on my mom's side. And so I reached out to her and said, hey, it looks like we're related. So I kind of assumed, with it being a first cousin, that she was probably a kid of one of my mom's siblings.
Right.
And two of them do live in Arizona, so she lives in California. It makes sense. So I was just letting her know, hey, I'm doing genealogy work, Do you know anything about the Mercer family? She responded back and says, I'm adopted. Oh. And it shows that we're related on my maternal side, which means your mom and my mom were sisters.
Ah, okay.
And so she was born in Arizona, and because of all this research that I found out about my mom's family, I was able to tell her which sister it was, and I was able to provide her all of this information. And she came back and when she asked for her non-identifying information, she got a first name.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
And so when I answered her back and I says, well, then your mom has to be this sister. Here's her birth date. They were living in Arizona at the time, and, all this other information. And she goes, well, that's funny you say that, because the first name she had was the sister's first name.
There you go.
And they said she was 20 when she had her.
Okay.
And my mom was 21. But her information said that her bio mom did not contact the adoption agency until she showed up at the hospital to have the baby.
Oh, wow.
she didn't think anyone knew she was pregnant, and she didn't want to hold the baby. So no one knows that I'm pregnant. I don't think anyone does. So just giving the baby up for adoption will tidy it up real nice.
Wow.
And no one knows.
Yeah.
So we've been conversing back and forth on do you think the two sisters knew
about each other?
Right. And if, why are they both acting like it's such a shameful thing,
Yeah.
I gives you a whole nother insight into the family.
Yeah.
So two sisters gave up their firstborn for adoption 8 years apart from each other.
So she reached out to her mother and she got the similar reaction?
No, she has not reached out to her mom yet.
Okay.
But in her non-identifying information, it's that she is assuming that her mom probably won't be very receptive, especially after she found out how my mom wasn't receptive.
Yeah, you just never know, though, and it might be good to make it like a whole. I don't know. That's fascinating. I would love to know if they knew about each other too. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, because I even suggested to her that maybe since Paula's on 23andMe and she shows up as her niece, that she could reach out to my bio mom and say, "Hey, do you have a sister?"
Oh, yeah. That's a great idea. Because I think your sister's my mom. And so that would be crazy. It could rekindle their whole relationship. Maybe they haven't spoken to each other in years. And then they have this amazing thing in common. Oh, this could all work out in the end.
That's what I'm hopeful.
Oh, good. You should be. You should be. Because I don't think it's over yet. I think she has a lot of work to do. And I think maybe if we nudge her in the right direction, it might... this is the long game, unfortunately, that some of us have to play.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's always reassuring to listen to podcasts and other people's stories and how either successful or unsuccessful and then eventually successful that they become. It gives me encouragement.
Yep.
It gives me hope. It also always gives me a different way to search more information.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, what a great story. Wow. And I think, it's kind of a bummer where we're leaving it off, but I have hope. I think it's going to work out.
And maybe I can have an update in a year or 6 weeks.
I hope so. Maybe even sooner. Yeah, please keep us posted. That would be great. I'm dying to hear what happens next.
I will. I will.
Right.
And I appreciate, Julie, for you reaching out and allowing me to tell my story.
Well, thank you. Thank you for telling your story, Lori. So appreciate it. It's fascinating. I didn't know much about this one because you didn't tell me much about it. But I knew it was going to be interesting. So thank you so much. The listeners, thank you. And hopefully we'll hear from you again soon with a good update.
All right. Thanks, Julie.
And that's the end of our interview with Lori.
Wow, that was worth 3 parts.
It was, wasn't it?
Yes.
And it's obviously still ongoing, so I hope she keeps us up to date.
Well, she's a delight. Thank you, Lori. It was so nice for you to share your story with us.
Yeah, and she was a lot of fun, too. So, hey, I think we're out of here.
In that case, I am Richard Castle. Not only do I co-host this great podcast, but I am also a musician and a composer and a songwriter, and I have a website, richardcastle.com, which you are free to look at anytime you want, or you could watch me on the Twitter.
Watch him on the Twitter.
Watch me on the Twitter, live tweeting nothing at all, and that's at Castle Songs.
I am Julie Dixon Jackson on the Twitter at Jules Jackson, all one word, 2 O's in Jules. The podcast is at Cutoff Jeans Pod on the Twitter and on Facebook, the Cutoff Jeans Podcast. You need to ask to join, but I'll probably let you in because I'm nice like that.
Yes, and we always get new members because I see you welcoming them on the Facebook page all the time.
Yeah, we're getting more and more members. It's really fun in there, you guys. Once again, please share the podcast with your friends, with people you like. or even people you don't like. I don't know why you would, but and share your stories with us. I love talking to you guys. I have not spoken to a person that is anything less than delightful yet.
That's pretty good odds.
It is. It is. So reach out to me, you guys. I'm having so much fun, and I hope you are too. And on that note, I want you to know.
What is that?
The truth is in your genes.